Masayat Zevahim Daf Sadi Zayin Amud Aleph halfway down by the Mishnah. Bishel Bo Kodashim B'Harim, someone cooked kadosh and regular meat together in a pot. Or kosher kashim kashim, he mixed kosher kashim and kalim together. Imish Behen Muten Tam, if there's enough of the more stricter meat to give flavor to the less one. Harei HaKalim Ne'achim B'Harim Mishran, you eat the lenient ones with the stringency of the stricter one. And the pots that you cooked in do not need to be washed. They also don't become tameh through contact. If a mincha bread that became touched another a pasul mincha bread that touched a kasher mincha bread and they got the flavor, or a piece of meat touched another piece of meat. Does not make everything asur. Only the place where it absorbed it, that's where it's asur. And these type of breads were like wafers that were moist, so it was able to suck it in. My Kamar, what's the Mishnah saying that you don't have to wash it if you just said it's disqualified? So certainly you'd have to wash it. The Gemara says, if it's enough to give flavor, when you eat it like the strict one. Within Rika you have to wash it. It becomes the meh. And there's no time. It doesn't give a flavor, and you don't have to eat it strictly. You don't have to wash it, and you don't have to, it's not disqualified by touching. Versus Nehid, kosher kashim laval. It's true that kosher kashim does not need to be washed. Kosher kalim may lie, but kosher kalim should have to be washed. Why not? The Gemara says, "I'm entering Gemara. What do you mean you don't have to? Kosher kashim, you don't have to wash for kosher kashim. About kosher kalim, but we do need it for the kalim. I love my different answer. How money was according to the Bishwan who was Hidamar. It's according to the Bishwan who held Kosher Kalim and Tunin Merika Shifa Kosher Kalim do not need to be washed. Bishwan makes sense according to the vow, who says the Mishnah according to the Bishwan and Kalim do not need to be washed. Hainu to make all Kosher Kachim to Kosher Kalim. That's why Mishnah specifically mentioned a case of Kochim or Kalim. And the Vaya according to the Vaya was not hold Tata Lamali. Why need two different examples if it's the same halacha? Where it says, Tzvichi in both cases, Ditanam Kachah, the clean, I mentioned Kuja and regular meat, have a minah, Lin Hudim Mevatli Kochim Dlaminah. Maybe because the ordinary meat can nullify the Kadosh meat, because it's different. About Kosher Kashim, the Kosher Kalim, but both type of Kiddushim of Kalim and Kochim, since they're both Kiddusha, Emalavi won't become Batel, Idana Kosher Kashim, because the only mention the Kiddusha cases, have a Kosher, have a minah Kosher Kalim, who the limit of Kashim, maybe only over there it could be Kalim can be Batel Kochim, or vice versa, because they're both Kiddusha. About Cholim, but in the case of Cholim, Emalavi won't work. See how different in both cases. Next time, just said Rakik, Shehagia, Rakik, the Minha wafer. Number nine. Kol Asher, you got anything that touches. Yachol Afil Shulabah. Maybe I think eat it to not absorb. Even if it's like a dry versus dry, not anything absorbing. The Pasuk says, Bivsara, you touch the meat. Anchi Ba'ala Bivsara until it's absorbed. Yachol Nagav Mitzah, Hazicha, you might have thought that it's only if it touches part of the slice. Would make that sort of cool basur, make the housing basur, pasul. Normally you got it for when it's touching. I know get pasul only but that part it's touching. How can that? What does that mean? What is what do you do? You cut off the piece that swallowed the other part. Biv sarha, the meat. Yishuv lo begadin doesn't count if it touched the sinews. We lo basmo, not the bones. Lo bakarna, not the horns. Lo batlafim, not the hubs. Lo yigdash becomes kadosh. Liot kamoat become just like it was. How can I mean? If you touch something that's pasul, the pasul becomes pasul. If you is kasher. You eat it like the shouldn't of the kasher item, like kedusha. Am I? Why does it become pasul? Why does a kasher korban become swallowed and become nullified by pasul? The neti asif say. Let the hiyub, the positive hiyub responsible requirement to eat the kasher animal override the isur of eating non-kosher, non pasul korban. The Gemara says in Rava, "Ena says the hayat lo taseh shemitash." It does not apply in bet mikdash. Shneimar pasuk be'etzim lo tishberu bo. You know the famous halacha by Korban Pesach. You cannot break the bone. Now technically, you have to. It's the Korban Pesach. Korban Pesach you have to eat completely, but yet you cannot break the bone even to eat the marrow inside. And therefore, we see that even though there's a lo ta'aseh, even though there's an aseh to eat everything, it does not override the lo ta'aseh of not breaking the bone. Okay. Rabbi Shmuel is saying, "Had עצם שיש בו מוח ואחד עצם שאין בו מוח." Whether it is applied whether there's marrow inside. Am I why? Now we're just speaking it out. How come the positive commitment does not override the negative? Ela in aseh the chayot must be doesn't apply there. Rashi says yigdash aseh. When it says it shall be kadosh, it means another kedusha. It's another commandment to be positive. Ve'en aseh the chayot lo taseh va'aseh, and therefore it's a positive commandment of eating versus a negative and positive. That makes sense according to because we have a source from the Torah. regarding hatat, it becomes kadosh through absorbing from the other hatat. She'akush minahana that apply to other covenants. Amashmuel mishmur b'lezer zot hatorah ala olah l'mirchal hatat Hashem l'mulim v'zer hashanim. La'olah will mention olah ki olah becomes just like the olah. Ma'olah to not that the olah needs a kli sharet to be used. Af kol to not kli every korban needs a kli. My kli was meaning kli. Ilam mizrak means if you're thinking about the receptacle of the basin for blood. Bisham is yibor namik div bu vayikach Moshe hatzi adam vayasin da'aganot. The Pasuk also says by the Shlamim also that Moshe took half the blood and put it in the bowls. It looks like he was referring to the knife for slaughtering. Wallah gufam, I know that the Allah needs a knife. The Tiv, Vayishach Abraham et yado vayikach et ma'achelet for the Korban Yitzchak, he took the knife. V'hatam Allah and Yitzchak was going to be the Allah. The Tiv, Vayalelu Allah ta'ad b'no, he ordered as an Allah instead of his son when he brought the Korban. He was replacing the Allah, which was his son, with a new Allah. Okay. Minha, when it says Korban Minha, what does pasuk mean? Ma minha inu nechal ela ezek kohanim. So the minha only by male kohanim. Avko inu nechal ezek kohanim. So the other korban they're only by male kohanim. The question is, Mahi, what's that referring to? Ihad Hashem is referring to the korban hatan Hashem. It's not possible because behedya ktibuhu kol zah habu kohanim nechal. The pasuk already says they eat it. The male kohanim eat it. Bibashat Tzibor is referring to communal shlamim. It also doesn't make sense. Miriyad dikra agati. We learned that in the pasuk it says bekodesh hakodeshim tochlenu kol zeh chayochal bo. The man of Shemesi Borsha and then learn over there already that the Shemim is eaten by the Kohanim. Tonight, the Gemara says, no, really, it's Machogot Tanaim and how we learn the Pesukim. You could enough claim some people learn from one Pasuk, you can and other people learn from the other Pasuk. Okay. Hatat, what does the Hatat do? Ma Hatat, the Kaddish Vadul, the Pasuk is like in the case of Hatat. It becomes Kadosh through absorbing. After everything else becomes Kadosh through absorbing. Asham, why mention Asham? Ma Asham in Shapir Bishri Aklish, which is like the Asham. If it's a fetus, or the pregnancy, the amniotic sac inside, does not become kadosh. Afkol in shapir v'shliyakish was to do any other korbanon to the fetus or amniotic sac does not become kadosh. Kasavar badot kashim b'hatan kashim. That sounds like because there holds that the animal of a kodesh animal becomes kadosh when they're born and not before, seemingly. Therefore, we learn from this. These are constantly learning from possible for a possible scenario from a impossible scenario. Meaning, is my whole good in general whether or not something that's possible can learn from something impossible. So over here, we can't compare anything to our Korban Hashem because an Hashem cannot have a baby because it's male. And therefore we're saying every other Korban is like the Hashem that can't have a baby, that the babies don't count. So we're learning something is possible. Other Korbanot can have female that can have children versus the male Hashem is the source, even though that's impossible. Just like in the case of the inauguration Korban of the Mishkan, the extra was burnt and animals are not considered extra, they're not considered kadosh anymore. The extra animals and the other animals are also burnt and the animal living is not included. Shamim was mentioned Shamim, Mashim Faglin, is like the Shamim can become Pagul and it can make other things Pagul as well. So too the other Korbanot as well can make things Pagul and they become Pagul themselves. Mustafa,